Welcome back to the Investigative Lens, where we dissect the shadows of injustice and illuminate the path towards truth. I'm your host, Amy, and on this podcast, we amplify the voices of those who have been silenced and scrutinize the narratives that attempt to bury the truth. Today, we journey back to 1976, to Medina County, Ohio, where a young woman's life was tragically cut short under a cloud of suspicion. This is the story of Pamela Terrill. It's August 23, 1976. Inside a seemingly ordinary apartment in Medina, Ohio, a scene unfolds that is anything but ordinary. 21-year-old Pamela Terrill is found dead, hanging from a hook in her closet. But there's something deeply unsettling about this scene. Scotch tape covers her mouth, her nose, and one of her eyes. Why? This is the question that has haunted investigators, family, and the community for decades. The initial assessment by the county coroner, Dr. Andrew Carson, suggests suicide. But the circumstances surrounding Pamela's death screamed foul play. 3 separate investigations are launched by Medina police, each one stumbling upon more inconsistencies and raising more questions than answers. A web of suspicion begins to weave itself around Mark Whitfield, a former Medina County commissioner and Pamela's employer. Here's where the story takes a darker turn. Just a week before her death, Pamela had filed rape charges against Whitfield. This critical detail, however, seemed to be buried within the initial police reports. And Whitfield himself? He's not just any man in Medina County. He's the son of a prominent judge, a man of influence in the community. Adding to the intrigue, Whitfield has a history of disturbing behavior, including an arrest for stalking a bank teller while dressed in women's clothing. The most shocking part is the investigations into Pamela's death were riddled with what can only be described as negligence. The police failed to secure the crime scene, allowing it to be trampled by onlookers. Crucial pieces of evidence, including the very scarf used in the hanging, were inexplicably destroyed. And to add insult to injury, Pamela's body was embalmed before a thorough autopsy could be conducted, making toxicology tests impossible. It's as if someone, or something, wanted to obstruct the path to the truth. The lack of a proper investigation ignited public outrage and suspicion. An anonymous letter sent to a police detective labeled Whitfield a transvestite murderer, whose actions were being shielded by powerful figures in Medina County. Under the weight of public scrutiny and the tireless efforts of Pamela's family, the coroner eventually changed the cause of death from suicide to undetermined. But was this a genuine attempt to rectify a flawed investigation, or a move to appease public anger while still protecting those in power? The fight for justice was far from over. A legal battle ensued over access to public records related to Pamela's death. Was there something hidden within those files, something that could shed light on the truth? This legal struggle only deepened the suspicion that powerful forces were at play, determined to keep the truth buried. Years later, in 1988, Mark Whitfield finally faced trial for Pamela's murder. But even the trial itself seemed to be tainted by the shadow of influence. Due to allegations of widespread corruption within Medina County's justice system, the trial was moved to Cuyahoga County. Was this a genuine attempt to ensure a fair trial, or a strategic maneuver to distance the case from the web of power that seemed to protect Whitfield? The prosecution, led by Special Prosecutor Peter Hull, meticulously presented a case that exposed the numerous missteps and potential cover-ups in the original investigations. But Whitfield's defense team countered with a shocking theory: sexual strangulation. They suggested that Pamela's death was a tragic accident during a solitary act of autoerotic asphyxiation. Despite the prosecution's efforts, the jury delivered a verdict of not guilty. Justice, it seemed, remained elusive for Pamela Terrill. Her case became a chilling example of how power, influence, and negligence can obstruct the pursuit of truth and justice. But the story doesn't end there. Alternative theories surrounding Pamela's death have emerged over the years. Some suggest that police misconduct and a deliberate cover-up were at play. Could it be that Pamela stumbled upon something she shouldn't have, something that threatened those in power? Was her death a desperate attempt to silence her? Pamela's story is not just a tragic tale of a young life lost. It's a stark reminder of the importance of thorough and unbiased investigations, especially when those in positions of power are implicated. The mishandling of this case left a deep scar on the Medina community, raising questions about accountability and justice that linger to this day. And it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about violence against women and the challenges they face in seeking justice. What truly happened to Pamela Terrill? Was her death a tragic suicide, a horrific accident, or a cold-blooded murder masked by a web of deceit? The book Who Killed Cleveland, Ohio delves into Pamela's case, offering a potential avenue for those seeking deeper insights. Perhaps with renewed attention and a fresh perspective, the truth can finally be brought to light. Pamela's case serves as a mirror to society, reflecting the dark reality of power imbalances and the vulnerability of those who dare to challenge the status quo. It's a story that resonates with the countless cases of violence against women, where justice is often delayed, denied, or buried beneath layers of influence and indifference.